If you ask runners, most will agree there is no other race like the New York City Marathon. It is happening on Sunday, so nearly every runner is at the tail end of their training. But CBSN New York's John Diaz explains how technology can now help optimize performance for any athletic competition.
Step after step, sometimes cramp after cramp. When you're preparing for the New York City Marathon, you have to stay dedicated and push through.
It's all about training. The harder you train, the better, the more confident you're going to feel.
It's the world's largest marathon with more than 50,000 runners from around the world competing. For most, training starts months in advance, running full force, rain or shine. But now, you don't have to go at it alone. Technology is here to help at Mount Sinai Union Square.
Normally these services are reserved for elite athletes. They're the only ones that have access to this kind of testing.
The hospital's team of experts opening up their Performance 360 program to the public for the first time. This team says they can help anyone reach their human potential, no matter the athletic competition.
Why do you think that this is so important?
Ultimately, the purpose of the test is to give you training zones to add purpose, quality, and direction to your training when you're out on your own.
Alex Bunt is an exercise physiologist. He says they base this test off a person's heart rate, speed, effort level, and lactate threshold.
As we exercise, our bodies produce energy via oxygen-derived pathways, and then pathways that don't require oxygen, that instead use carbohydrates.
In other words, that's when it starts to hurt, and that's what they look for.
All right, well, let's get this show on the road. I brought my running gear here. All right, let's do this thing.
The team starts with an evaluation, testing my balance.
You're gonna come down just like that and then come back up.
Since they do more than provide a training program, but also look at safety.
So we're able to identify maybe subtle weaknesses, subtle asymmetries that, if corrected, can prevent injuries from occurring in the future.
The team then applies markers to my body and take video as I do a warm-up run. This way they can measure different angles, like how my knees bend. Right after, the fun begins. The oxygen mask goes on.
I feel like Darth Vader right now.
And I begin my run, starting at 5 miles per hour. Each run lasts 3 minutes. Then they wait a minute so they can increase the speed.
As the speed increases, your body's going to produce more and more lactate.
And they prick my finger to measure my lactate levels at each stage.
After the first stage, your blood lactate is 1.2 millimoles.
Is that good?
Millimoles just the unit. Yeah, that's good. So it means your body is working aerobically, fueling the exercise primarily from oxygen. Anything under 4, we're in that oxygen zone, and we can continue exercise for an extended amount of time.
Once you get over 4 millimoles, though, that's when fatigue starts to kick in.
1.6, so you're fit, man.
But eventually, I start to break a sweat when I reach stage 7 at 8 miles per hour, and at 8.5 miles per hour,
You were right, there it is.
I hit my threshold, which means my body started to use stored carbs to fuel my run.
Oh, that wasn't too bad. That's fine. Well, now that I'm a sweaty mess, tell me the results.
Okay, first off, you're fit, man.
All right, good, I'll take it. I will take that, and that's not planned.
Turns out I have great low-end efficiency, meaning my oxygen delivery system works well at lower speeds. But for training purposes, I need to run around 8 miles per hour to get better. Now, the evaluation.
There's so much more we can do and measure and see when we're able to slow down the video rather than doing it in real time.
Doctors say I take too long of steps when running, which means I'm prone to injuries like shin splints.
When people take too long of steps, they might be landing on the heels, right? Landing on the heels is not a horrible thing if you've never had any injuries, but it has been linked to some injuries.
State-of-the-art technology providing modern marathon training.
You're fit, man.
In Union Square, John Diaz, CBSN, New York.
John is joining us now. I love you. You said it probably 5 or 6 times that
Fit?
you are fit.
Listen, and as I said in that story, I'll take it. Because running this marathon, you need all the support you can get.
Yeah, and you're actually training for this marathon.
I'm still going. It's on Sunday, so I've been training for months now, for months.
How are you feeling?
Good. I feel pretty confident in myself. Yeah, I feel like I got this.
Okay, so what I found really interesting is I mentioned your stride being a little bit too long.
Yes.
But shin splints, have you felt them?
So yes, and I've always had them, and I always wondered why I got them. You're taking too long at steps, and so I'm a heel walker. So I land on my heels because you're running too long, so you get shin splints that way. So they say to take shorter steps, and also the whole point is trying to find your training zone, really. So that's the whole point for this. So I run. They're telling me to run about a 720 mile.
Okay.
And that's the training zone that I should train to get better in. So that's the whole point of this is you want to figure out your training zone so you're not wasting your time when you're training.
Right. Is this open to anyone?
It is open to anyone. And what you saw, that was a few $100s, but you can do a whole different, all these different options they have. They have a nutritionist and all these different stuff. So it's a range of different options, a range of different costs. It's all out-of-pocket expenses. So, you know, a lot of times health insurance covers all this stuff. But in this case, it is not. So it's out-of-pocket expense, and we're going to post more information over on CBSNewYork.com for people. And again, it's not just marathon training. So anyone, they were telling me that someone who was going to take the FBI exam, the physical fitness test, they went in there to see how they should train. If you're a biker, you can go in there, you can see it all too. And they had some Olympic athletes, and they said that I am just as fit as one of them. We're not allowed to say who, but yeah.
Tell me later.
I'll tell you later.
Okay.
No, I'm really not allowed to.
We'll by the way, you're fit.
I'm fit.
Okay,
thank
good
you.
for you.
I'll
Good
take
for
it.
you
I'll
on
take
that
it.
note. Thanks for being here,
You
John. We
got
always
it.
appreciate it.